The Fandom Bricks Podcast.
Hello everyone, it is that time of the week again. It is the Fandom Bricks Podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, the Galaxy of Bricks, and my co-host, as always, doesn't need an introduction, but I'm going to allow him to do an introduction for himself because that's how this works.
Hi everyone, I'm Sam, better known as Bite Size Bricks. Welcome back to the podcast. We're really excited for this one. We are beginning to build up to Christmas, so we're going to be talking a little bit about Christmas if you're adverse to that in November, but we're going to be doing it. So we have a main topic to go through. We've got a few questions from you guys, and of course we've got a minifig draft with a bit of a twist this week, so we're looking forward to that. But as ever, we're going to start off with our Lego life story. So Josh, where have you come across Lego this week? Have you built anything, bought anything? How's it been?
It's been an interesting one. I built one of the sets in my backlog, which is set number 76201, which is the Hydra Stomper from Marvel's What If. I finally got around to building that, which looks absolutely amazing. It's just staring at me from across the table now as we're talking, and it just looks insanely good. I was also able to pick up a retired set, which was the Hulkbuster, but it wasn't the Hulkbuster that we all know and dislike. It's actually the Hulkbuster versus AIM Agents, you know, the minifigure scale one. I was able to pick that up on Amazon this week, and that just looks amazing. I can't wait to build that one. And I went to do some Christmas shopping this weekend with Mrs. Galaxy, and we did a few bits and pieces, and we went into the Lego store. It's not a trip to the Trafford Centre without a trip to the Lego store, and I picked up my first ever Batman set.
Oh, nice. Actually, I did see that.
Oh, did you see that?
Yeah. No. It's a good choice. It was the 1960s classic Batman, isn't it?
Yeah, the Adam West Batman with the 1960s Joker, which is slated to be retired soon as well. So it was a really good investment. So I'm happy with it. But what about you? Have you been building anything? Have you bought anything? What have you been up to?
Well, first of all, that's a great little find. I think it's a great set. No, I again have been trawling through Facebook Marketplace. I've been keeping an eye on the sales at the moment. Obviously, you've got Black Friday and things. It's a little bit frustrating because most of the sale prices are the prices that most sets were 6 months ago prior to the price hikes. So still just kind of keeping my eye out. Nothing's jumping out at the moment. I think I'm kind of waiting now for the January wave and seeing what comes up there. Build-wise, we obviously jumped on the live. You built the Hydra Stomper. I built a Mega Construct set again. I did another Pokemon. I'm a little bit addicted to these Pokemon at the moment, so I built Squirtle.
I saw that I saw that on the live that we did. It looks really good, actually. I think it's good that Mega Constructs have got the license to it because they actually look really nice, detailed builds as well. Yeah,
they're cool little display pieces, and I have to say that one was a much better build than the Pikachu, which at halfway through building the Pikachu, I wanted to throw it out the window. So that was a much nicer build. And other than that, I've just built a couple of little poly bags this week. Obviously, the new Lego Star Wars magazine is out, so we've got a nice little Princess Leia minifigure with that, which is always a good pick. So yeah, a couple of little bits, but again, it's just kind of keeping an eye out and hoping that something good pops up. But we'll be discussing sales and things, I think, in a minute anyway. But yeah, a quiet week again, but it's always there, isn't it? Always there in the background.
Exactly. It's one of those things, like Lego never seems to go away for us. It kind of just constantly just appears over our shoulder in some way, shape, or form. It's
scary how quickly the week goes and we come back to recording again. You think, oh, we only talked about this a couple of days ago. No, it goes very quickly. But a never-ending stream of topics to talk about. So those were our Lego life stories. Some quiet weeks this week, but I think as Christmas approaches, that might ramp up a little bit in the coming weeks. So on to our main topic this week. With Christmas in mind, people are starting to head out to the shops, starting to buy Christmas presents. As you said, you went out Christmas shopping this weekend, and so what we thought we'd do this week was to try and think about those people that are maybe buying for others or buying for themselves around Christmas time, and thinking about different budget ranges. So our main topic, all about what would you buy for a budget of £50, £100, £200, or £500 plus. Now, obviously, this will differ depending on your area in the world. So those in America, I know that that's going to be slightly different. I may, like, somewhere on the screen put up the conversion rate, but we're going to work in pounds since we're both in England. So Josh, I'm going to kick it over to you straight away. We're starting off with that £50 budget range. What do you think, or what good picks do you think we can find for that sort of budget?
Well, off the bat, I'm going to say one of the best sets for that price range is the 501st Troopers set that is currently out now. That I think is about 20 something pounds, give or take, depending on where you go. I have seen it for 22. I've seen it for 25. So it does vary. I think for minifigure choices, because you get a couple of clone troopers, you get a clone jet trooper, a couple of battle droids, you get a bark speeder and a walker. Value for money wise and price per brick, that is really good. I would also say as well that Marvel mechs are always a good one. You could buy five Marvel mechs for £50. You could maybe get a battle pack and a couple of small things as well. There's options there. So for £50, my money is definitely on the 501st Troopers set and maybe a couple of Marvel mechs just to round it off to about £45.
No, that's nice. I think the way that you've looked at it is slightly different. It's slightly different to how I've looked at it, and you've kind of thought, what can I get for that £50? What different things? So I think you're right. I think, again, Marvel mechs are always a winner. When you're looking at a low budget range, you can pick up 2 or 3 of them, which is nice because you begin to get a kind of a collection of them, and you can do that very quickly at a low price range. 501st Battle Pack or 501st Clone Legion. What more needs to be said about that set? I think it's been probably Lego's highest ever selling set. I can't imagine anything else has ever sold more sets than that. So again, it's always a winner. I saw it maybe 6 months ago. It dropped down in price a few times, and I saw it for around £20. I can't find it anywhere for less than 25 at the moment. But it's scarce at the moment. I did have a look the other day because it is retiring at the end of the year, or at least rumored to be retiring, I think. So I think people are definitely wanting to pick up the last kind of few of those, and especially since one of the rumors is that in January or at least in 2023, they're going to release another 501st battle pack to kind of go alongside it. So it's definitely a great one to pick up at this time. So I kind of went down a slightly different route and kind of thought, what are those sets around that £50 mark? What kind of big or bigger set could you get for that price range? The one that stuck out in my head, and I did a bit of a top 10 Lego Star Wars sets of the year for me personally on my TikTok last week, and the number one set for me was the Hoth ATST. I just think it's such a great build. I think the minifigure selection within it is amazing, and so that would be my big standout one for that sort of price range. But again, for me, thinking along Star Wars route, you're getting things like the helmets now for £50 or less. You're getting Mando's N1 Starfighter for less than £50. So there's a few bigger, nicer sets that you can pick up nowadays for that sort of price range. But I think if it was me and I had £50 at the moment, I would probably go down your route and kind of, especially for Christmas, it's nice to have a few different things. So maybe pick up a few smaller sets. I know that Argos do a really good deal for some of the smaller Harry Potter sets where it's like 2 for £30 or something. They've got a couple of the books in there, and a few other ones. So there's definitely good sets to be found at that price range. So even if you're working at a small budget, there's a lot out there for you to add to your collection.
Exactly. And when I kind of went into this topic as well, because it wasn't me who came up with the idea of like buying small but like serious amounts of sets, that was pitched by somebody else, and you know who's pitched that idea, obviously, because she's smart like that. Because she started collecting the Harry Potter books now. She kind of got into the idea of, well, if it was me and I was a first time collector and I was looking at things, would I want a series of smaller sets that I can build to start a collection, or one big set that I can build but have less in a collection? So I kind of approached it with that sort of lens, and I think that's actually a really genius way of approaching it. So Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, nice. And I think actually it's good that we've both kind of come at it a different way. So for those people that already have a collection, you could maybe look at those slightly more expensive sets, and those that want to start building up, then go down Josh's route and pick up a few sets, a few sort of £10-15 sets, and start building up a collection. But no. Great choices, Josh.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think this was my favourite one to look at, the £100 budget. I think there's so many amazing buys that you can get under this price bracket now. I've been looking on smiths.com. And they've got so many sets discounted that are kind of just falling under this £100 price bracket. So I'll go over to you, Josh. What did you come up with for the £100 budget?
Well, at time of recording, there are discounts on a number of sets. So obviously, when we watch this back, those sets could be even lower than the prices we're discussing. They could go back to their original price format. So just a disclaimer, at time of recording this, these sets are within the price bracket that we're discussing. So, before you hate us in the comments and stuff like that.
Yeah, on 22nd of November at 8:33.
Yeah.
This is the price.
That's just, that's just a disclaimer. So for under £100, you can get, and I looked at it in two separate ways. I looked at it in the way of a couple of small sets for £100, and I also had one set for just under £100. So to kick it off, I'm going to go with the two smaller sets, which was the Inquisitor Scythe Shuttle and Obi-Wan Kenobi Starfighter. That would just reach under the £100.
That's a great pairing as well. Yeah, because the Scythe has gone down quite a bit recently. I found it pretty much everywhere. You can get it for about £70 now, can't you? And
and then Obi-Wan Kenobi Starfighter is like £20 or something like that. Yeah,
I think a nice little pairing. What about the £100 set then that you went for?
The ATTE, because that is £95.99 on Amazon when I last looked.
And on Smiths as well.
Yeah, so
yeah. I mean, again, an amazing build, great minifigures. It was one of those ones, I think I put it into our WhatsApp chat. I was waiting. I knew at some point, when you look at the price count of that set, I knew at some point it was going to go below the £100. And I had it in my mind purely because I wanted BD1 initially, and then I waited for the Scythe to drop. I was like, I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not gonna jump at it until it drops below that 100. So I did order it.
Nice.
But so I did wait. I stayed true to my word this time and actually waited, because normally I just jump at them. I think that's a great shout. I mean, it's such a. This is why I said this was my favourite one to look at. There are so many sets under this price bracket now. You've got one of them. So the Guardians of the Galaxy ship, the Milano, is now under 100. That's dropped down from. It's normally retails at about 140. I know you got it on a good deal as well, but that's dropped below 100 as well. Pyramid of Giza has dropped below 100. And then ones that are slightly lower, the Galaxy Explorer, the classic starship, which is an amazing set, has dropped below. If you're a Mario fan, the Super Mario Peach's Castle has dropped below it as well now. And we talked about this last week, but the Horizon Forbidden West set, the tool neck set, is obviously under that price bracket as well. So those were my kind of big picks that even looking at it now, I'm kind of considering jumping at a couple of them. Because because like I said earlier, it's a little bit disappointing that a lot of sets with their discounts are now going back to their prices that they were 7 months ago. But actually those sets that I pointed out there have never been this low as they are now. And so now is a good time to kind of go for them if you've been umming and ahhing. But the final set, the one that I would go for, if you were a fan of this anyway, the Avatar Tree of Souls has dropped below £100 now. And I know that hasn't come out yet, and we've very much been on the wavelength of sets kind of fly or die with how good a film is. But I do think that tree does look incredible. I think it would be a very, very nice display set. So that would be one that, for a Christmas present, I think that would be a bit of a winner for any Lego collector. No,
that's smart. I like your logic as well. And again, it's one of those things of the Star Wars sets are always a winner because, Star Wars is big in both of our lives. We are both massive Star Wars fans. And of course, the ATTE, I think, is definitely at that price worth it for a Christmas present for someone, or you get a couple of smaller sets as well, like we discussed. But I think the Horizon one is a very good one, because it's a set that's kind of flown under a lot of people's radars, because obviously with it being Sony and PlayStation, but just the build and the look of it looks fantastic. It looks such a beautiful build as well.
I've never played Horizon. I've never been interested in Horizon, but I would not be disappointed if someone got me that for Christmas and I had that on my shelf as a display piece. I don't think you need to know anything about it for it to be a cool set. I do think with that £100 budget, though, you almost want to go for a bigger set, don't you? Rather than a few little sets.
Yeah, and I think
with the £50, yeah, absolutely. I just think with that £50, you can't get anything ridiculously big. So it's almost worth picking up quite a few little sets. Whereas the £100 one, I think there's so many sets like the ATT, like the Guardians of the Galaxy ship. You can get a hefty build for a really good price point there. So yeah, I think realistically, £100 is going to be a lot of people's sort of Christmas budgets. Certainly thinking of like kids and stuff.
Yeah, we've done £100 budget for Christmas shopping and our budget and stuff. So obviously, I'm trying to send like ideas of Lego, and say like, this falls within this price bracket, and then vice versa. It's like Disney pins or Harry Potter books and stuff like that. And it's kind of like you think of £100 is good, but it's like you say, a couple of small things or a big thing, stuff like that. So yeah, it's a good kind of steady. And obviously, we're living in a cost of living crisis right now. £100 would probably be better spent on a few small things and one big thing. But if you can splash out on a big thing, definitely consider the ATTE 100%.
Yeah, definitely. And again, we're not very good at kind of prefacing these sorts of things. We're not telling people to go out and spend hundreds of pounds on Lego.
No.
Only do it if you have the budget for it. And this is kind of the idea behind this. If you have that sort of budget, what would we go for? And so that's sort of where we're coming at this from, because we are going to get into a much higher budget bracket in a minute, and definitely we're not telling you to go out and buy things if it's outside of your price range. We're just trying to give you ideas for different budgets. Absolutely. Okay, so the next price bracket that we talked about was about a £200 price bracket.
Okay.
I'm going to go first on this one, only because I think you will completely agree with me immediately. And it's been in my basket for a while now, and I'm so close to clicking that button. My thing, if you had £200 to spend on any Lego set, you've got to get the Sanctum Sanctorum.
That was what I was going to say.
Yeah, I knew you would be. I knew you would.
Yeah.
You talk about it more, Josh. You've got it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Sam and I are on the same wavelength, and the Sanctum Sanctorum normally retails for about £214. At this moment in time, I've seen it on Shop Disney, Zavvi UK, Amazon, and a couple of other places. It's currently retailing in the UK for about £167, give or take. And I've seen a few people, friend of the podcast, Pod Bricks, I've seen her build it. Michael Bishop, who we know, he's got it. A lot of collectors and TikTokers have it and have reviewed it. And you may think the Daily Bugle is, which I think is like £45 more, is the better set. It is for minifigures, but if you want a build that is recognisable, is cool, is very current, because Doctor Strange came out a few months ago, and also, who doesn't want Benedict Cumberbatch as a minifigure? Let's be honest. And I think the Sanctum, if the ATST is in the top 12 of Christmas presents this year under a certain price, then the Sanctum outdoes the ATTE in terms of money, because £167 for well over a few thousand pieces and a build that's modular, you can outfit it, you can change it, you've got a lot of adaptability to it. I think it's an instant winner. And for the same sort of price bracket as well, within that £200 budget, there's also another small set that you can buy as an accompaniment to that set, which fits in with the film. Yeah,
so what's in my basket at the moment on Amazon is the Sanctum Sanctorum. And is it the Gargantos Showdown? I can't remember exactly what it's called now.
That's the one, yeah.
So you can pick both of them up on Amazon for under £200. So if you want to get Gargantos on the side of the Sanctorum, which I've seen a lot of people do, looks amazing. That's one way to go. The other thing that I was going to suggest with this one, you can pick up a light kit for the Sanctum Sanctorum for about £30 as well. And I've seen a lot of people use these light kits for the Sanctorum. And I just think for a lot of sets, I look at those light kits and I think it doesn't make it look any better. You should have left it as it was. But for the Sanctorum, I genuinely think it looks incredible with those light kits, especially for like, I can't even remember what they're called, like the portals that on the side of the building. So if it was me and I had £200, I'd be getting the Sanctorum and I'd be getting a light kit and I'd be creating an awesome display piece. I don't think we need to really talk about any other sets for that price range because I just think that's the standout under that price range.
For that, within that price bracket, that is definitely the one.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, good. I knew we'd agree on that one straight away. As soon as £200 one, I was like, I knew exactly what we'd go for there. Okay, so our final budget. This is the meaty one. We've gone for a £500 plus budget. So we're talking your big UCS sets. And your sort of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 piece sets. Just really quickly to get it out of the way, I'm assuming that you haven't kind of considered the Eiffel Tower.
No, get in the bin.
Or get in its own house. It's too big. There's no space for that thing.
It's 5 foot tall, 10,001 pieces, and 5 foot.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that.
Like it's an impressive build, but yeah, exactly. You'd be sitting it next to your Christmas tree. Yeah, I just think it's. I didn't even consider it. So, what did you go for then, Josh? You got £500. Someone's just given you 500 plus budget. What are you going to buy?
Well, one of the things that I would consider for that price budget is obviously me being a massive Star Wars fan is definitely the UCS Mos Eisley Cantina because that's about £344 right now. There are rumours that set may or may not be retiring soon. It's up in the air, the speculation. It's a set that's on my wish list, but I can't justify spending that much money on it because obviously I've just got, a Sanctum and, an ATTE as well. So I'm like kind of trying to curtail that spending. I would, however, also consider, just because it's not my normal thing, but it looks fantastic, I would consider the Harry Potter Diagon Alley as well.
Nice. That's a really cool set.
Because that, in terms of price and figures and stuff like that, it looks cool. And there's options for you to buy a couple of smaller sets. It was £500 plus that you can add to Diagon Alley as well. So I'm trying to cater to the non-Star Wars fans out there.
I know. We so easily slip into these Star Wars themes. But I mean, I kind of did the same actually.
Okay.
Because at the moment, the Hogwarts Castle has got quite a big price drop on it as well. So I was thinking, obviously, there's a lot of Harry Potter fans out there, a lot of Harry Potter Lego collectors out there. That is a very impressive build. It's a great price range at the moment, so that might be one to jump at. Again, we say it all the time, but the UCS Millennium Falcon, you can't look past it. It's an incredible build. It's horrifically priced, but again, we are looking at the £500 plus. If you've got that sort of money, and you want to splash it on some Lego, I don't think you can really fail with that one. The UCS 8080 obviously has kind of dropped back down to its original price, which is quite nice, I guess, that you're not having to spend an extra like 80 quid on it, which is what they had hiked it up by. But other than that, you've got I've just lost it now. Where is it? Sorry, I'll cut this bit out. I was going to talk about the Hulkbuster. That's what I was going to talk about.
No.
If you want to really throw money down the drain, you could spend £474 on a Hulkbuster, and then you could go and buy a retired Hulkbuster like Josh did, and you could compare them. That would be a really nice, fun thing to do.
Yeah. I will also reiterate as well that the retired Hulkbuster that I bought currently retails on the secondary market, so Amazon, eBay, and Vinted, Etsy, places like that, for about £40. So for a tenth of the price of the current Hulkbuster, you can get a minifigure scale Hulkbuster as well.
Right, so anyone out there that has silly money and is willing to just throw money at Lego, someone please buy, it's 12, you can get 12 of them. Someone please buy 12 of those Hulkbusters and try and put them together and make a better, like, massive Hulkbuster with it. That's what I want to see. Please do it.
Yeah. There's one thing we haven't considered as well within our price bracket, mate, and that's the UCS Razor Crest.
Yeah. How do you feel about it?
I would rather buy a play scale UCS. I say a play scale Razor Crest rather than the UCS one. I would, if money was no object, I would probably buy it and buy the other one and do a comparison of the two. Why, you know, in terms of price and stuff. But again, similar to the Hulkbuster, similar to the Eiffel Tower. I love Star Wars, but it's just not for me. It seems unnecessary, given the fact that this is like the third Razor Crest we've had in about 3 or 4 years. They're just pumping out Razor Crests, like, you know. And
I get that Mando has a new helmet, which is really exciting. But I feel like I have. How long's Mandalorian been out for? Like 3 years, maybe 4 years?
Yeah.
Not even, actually, I don't even think it's like maybe less than 3 or around about 3 years. I have so many Mandalorians just lying about. I don't know, and I genuinely think, like, there's been so many sets when you look back to certainly prequel ones that people are always banging on about, but there's been so many big ships that people have been crying out for. The Razor Crest has been around for 3 years, and we've had a playset one which pretty much unanimously everybody loved and said was a great set, and now they've decided a year later, we're going to cash in on it because it got blown up in the series, so we better make one now. It just feels a bit cash grabby to me.
Yeah, I mean, the Mandalorian was released on Disney Plus in 2019, and it's nearly the end of 2022. So
you 3 years.
You think about the different versions of the Razor Crest that we've had in 3 years, and you look at the Millennium Falcon, which they've done one every few years, but the UCS version of the Millennium Falcon is the epitome of both a set that every collector wants, but also just detail. You'd rather spend, say, an extra £200 or something like that on a Millennium Falcon because you know that you can swap it out and you can have it as a prequel version, you can have it as a sequels version. That's got more adaptability, whereas the Razor Crest is it's the Razor Crest, it's Grogu, it's the new Mandalorian helmet, it's Quill, Mithril, and a stand. You know, it just doesn't work for me.
The minifig choice was better in the play scale set than it is
absolutely.
Here. And I get that people are excited about blurgs, but get on Bricklink, you can put together a blurg very cheaply. You do not need to spend 520 quid to get a blurg. Same goes for like the child's pram. You can put that together again very quickly. I honestly think you're spending. It's a really nice build. It's a great build. I just don't see the point of it at the moment. Maybe in like 5 years' time when it's or 4 years' time when it's retiring, I may look back differently on it. But that's probably about the time when I think they probably should have brought it out in sort of 3-4 years' time when people start to get nostalgic about the Razor Crest. After you remember that ship that Mando had originally, that's a good time to bring it out.
Yeah, because there's no way, like, obviously the Mandalorian Season 3, trailer has dropped and stuff, hasn't it? So we're going to be talking about that. But realistically, Mandalorian is at its peak now. Why release a UCS version of the set now? Because when the Mandalorian has ended, what are they going to release to make people get back on the Mandalorian train? You're not going to have, for that price bracket, you're probably never going to get another set from that series within the same price bracket that's UCS scale that would just have the same kind of attention grab that the Razor Crest does. For me, I think, it's peaked too soon.
Yeah, I agree. But there we go. If you've got £500 plus, there's better sets out there that we think you could probably go for.
Also,
but anyway, that was sorry.
Yeah, just a quick addition as well for this. For the £500, £200, £100, etc. Also, you could consider looking on eBay or Amazon or secondary places and look at retired sets that maybe you didn't get your hands on first time round. Like, I've got my eye on a couple of retired sets, and for £500 you could buy a lot of retired sets that you missed out on 5 or 6 years ago that you haven't got in your collection. So that's another additional option if you didn't want anything current. So that's just my
absolutely
final little bit.
I was going to kind of say that with one of the ones that I always see for about £200 is the Mos Eisley Cantina. That if you're not adverse to buying secondhand stuff and you want to pick things up, then there are definitely things out there. I was going to kind of say that these budgets, obviously, we're thinking pre-Christmas, buying for Christmas presents maybe. But if you are one of those people that maybe gets a bit of money for Christmas, or you've saved up a bit of money and there's nothing jumping out at you, just be patient. Because that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm not spending, I'm not buying anything, or not buying anything just because I want to buy new Lego. I'm buying things that I've waited for, like the ATTE. But yeah, really, I'm waiting for that January wave and hoping that something comes out. I know in Star Wars, I'm looking for like a 501st Battle Pack. I know that the Endor Brickheads are coming out, that they're doing a TIE bomber. So I'm looking out for those things and maybe waiting just post Christmas. Remember that normally January sales are better than Black Friday sales as well. So if you are a patient person, which most Lego collectors are not, then maybe sit on it for a bit. But if you're anything like us, it will be very difficult to do.
Yeah, very impulsive, a lot of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was our main topic. Number one, let us know what you think. Let us know what you're going for or what your budget is for Christmas. And yeah, maybe we can try and point you in the right direction. Okay,
Absolutely.
This week we're going to move on to our questions. So we have got a few questions in this week, and we've got 3 questions, actually, that we can go through. So our first question from Seamus, he's back because he likes it that we talk about him every week on the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's off somewhere eating a Vegemite sandwich for his dinner. So Seamus has asked us, I don't know if that's allowed or not. Actually, Australia are playing currently, aren't they, in the World Cup?
Yeah.
We should maybe mention the World Cup. That's happening. It's not Lego related, but Australia are getting battered by France currently as we record this. So I'm very sorry, Seamus, if you're at all interested.
So obviously, we're recording this on the 22nd of November. So for those of you who are going to be listening to this on the Friday, God, can we believe that Australia got beat and are getting trounced in the group stages? No. Pre-warning, predisposition, foresight.
Come on, England. Right. We'll move past it. Saying that, I think there's a fair few Americans that follow us on TikTok, and England are playing America on Friday night. So for those Americans that don't want to watch you get absolutely slaughtered by England, listen to the podcast instead. Yeah,
and for those of you who want to see a shock horror and see the US beat England, tune in and don't listen to the podcast.
That's on channel 666, the fantasy channel. Okay. We are on to question 1. Sorry, Seamus. We'll get back to your question. So he says, Good day, Drongos. What sets would you recommend for people just starting collecting Lego at different age brackets? Ooh. So he's thinking like if you're a child or middle-aged sort of early adult to adult, and then later on in life, maybe like let's go 40 plus. What Lego sets would you recommend to kind of get people started in Lego?
Oh,
it's a really interesting question.
That's a very good question. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first on this one?
I don't mind. I think without going into sets immediately, I was kind of thinking when you're looking at the younger age bracket, if you're trying to get a younger person into Lego, it needs to be a fairly easy build. Or easygoing build. You want it interesting, but it needs to be an easygoing build. I know from building stuff with Jacob before, even as I would say, more experienced Lego builder, he's built a fair few things. I remember building the Republic attack shuttle with him a while ago, and he had enough of it within like 10 minutes. He was just like, no, this is ridiculous. I can't be bothered to do this. And he just switched off. And I think if you're trying to start someone out on that journey, it needs to be a fun build and it needs to be fairly simple. So my mind immediately went for the younger age with something like a Brickheads. Yeah,
I would say Brickheads are a very good starter one because obviously, you were there at Brickfest with me and my plus one, and she bought a couple of Brickheads because she's not really into Lego, but she really likes Brickheads, and I've got a couple of ideas for Christmas presents that involve Brickheads and vice versa. They're the mantelpiece is just full of brickheads. And I think a brickhead, it's fun because obviously we've seen the price of Funko Pops and things like that, and they're like a big thing. But I think brickheads are different because, rightfully so, it's the satisfaction of building that and then putting it on display. And I think for a younger person, it's good because the brickheads, they're not too difficult if you can look past the intricacies. And there are some amazing brickhead designs out there as well. Like, you've got Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. You've got you've got Woody and Bo Peep. You've got Mickey and Minnie, who are the holy grail for a lot of brickhead collectors out there. You've got Ahsoka Tano as a brickhead. Harry Potter ones.
Mando and
all
Grogu.
sorts. And yeah, brickheads are good because they cater to everyone.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. I was thinking more down the lines of getting almost like a build that you can get the satisfaction of completing a build fairly easily. It may take, for those more intricate pieces, it may take a little bit of adult assistance. The only other thing that I could kind of see if you're trying to get them into Lego is, and we're going to be talking about this at length later, something like a battle pack where it's predominantly minifigures and they can use them for play more than building. So they can just put their minifigs together and they can go and play with them, recreate a battle of some sort. But I think if I was trying to get someone into Lego at that age, those are kind of the routes that I would go down.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's good as well. And then maybe for a young person, but like a slightly older within that younger person age bracket, the Marvel mechs as well are a good one because they're a little bit more trickier, but they're still cool. And obviously most, the Marvel ones especially, everybody loves superheroes and supervillains. There's something out there for everyone. So the mechs are always a good one. And even if you're a grown-up and you're a first-time collector, the mechs are always a good option as well. And they're affordable.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I don't think you can go wrong with that, really. I'm just going back to the video the question very quickly. I just wanted to kind of see the age brackets so Seamus said under 10, which I think is what we've kind of catered towards there. Then he said 10 to 20. So 10 to 20, I'm thinking it kind of needs to be on the pulse of like current pop culture. So yes, I don't really know. Maybe I'm trying to think of what I would go for in that. That's where you do almost need like a Fortnite theme, don't you? This is showing our age.
Minecraft is one. Maybe Minecraft is an option.
And you know what? Actually, building a couple of the Minecraft sets with Jacob, there are some really cool techniques. I couldn't tell you what any of the characters are, so I'm very sorry for people that are Minecraft collectors. But there is one thing that kind of springs up. It's like a little cube, but the cube opens up, and it's just a very clever way of just using a couple of little Technic rods to open it up. But I definitely think that there are some tricky bits in the Minecraft builds, but obviously you can get quite large extravagant sets in there. So those are your kind of, if you're still building Lego between the ages of 10 and 20, then you're obviously a bit of a, exactly, because those are the ages where most children kind of grow out of it, I guess. So if you're trying to get someone into it, it's got to be something that they are particularly interested in. So I think you're right. Maybe something like Minecraft is a good in there. Maybe Star Wars as well. I feel like that's a great shout.
Speed Champions, Star Wars, definitely, because it caters for everyone. Speed Champions is a good one because we've had we've had the Aston Martin. You've got Dom's Charger from Fast and Furious. You've got things like Lamborghinis. You've got Koenigsegg's. You've got a lot of different cars and a lot of different things. And I think that's good because they use some Technic pieces which are a little bit more advanced. They use standardized builds, and it's cars, it's racing. If you're not going to be playing with Lego and you want to play with cars, or you want to go out and do things like that and you like racing, maybe that's another option as well within that kind of 10 to 20 bracket, perhaps.
Honestly, Josh, I think we're smashing this. So under 10, easy. We're going brickheads, battle packs, or mechs. For 10 to 20, we're going Minecraft or Speed Champions. That's great. His next bracket's quite big, but we fall into this bracket. So you're going 20 to 50. So I'm thinking with this age bracket, you're going more nostalgia kind of based ones. If you're 20 to 50, I'm assuming, and please don't shoot me down if this is not correct, I'm assuming most people collecting at that age are for display purposes rather than play purposes. That's not, and I do hope that there's lots of us that still play. But I think realistically, the majority are for display. So you're going for a display set to get someone in. So I'm guessing you don't want to go way over budget. So what are you going to go for?
Display 20 and 50, assuming as well that within that bracket, a vast majority of them, there may be, maybe they have, they budget for certain things, not just Lego. So, you're running a house, you've got a family, things like that. You want to try and base things on that one. I would say you'd probably want things like Obi-Wan Kenobi Starfighter, which is within a really good cheap bracket, the ATST, the Hoth one, which is still good. You've got things like, if you're talking display, you've got the Mandalorian Starfighter from Star Wars. Harry Potter, you've got all the Harry Potter books. You could put them on a bookshelf as part of a collection. You've got, maybe as a prime example, the Central Perk Friends set if you're of that age where you remember Friends as a TV show. I've got it on display in the living room. It's near my Boba Fett's throne room. That's a good one as well. And also, I would say that within that 20 to 50 bracket, a lot of collectors, if they want to go into things and they want to go for something, don't go for a big set off the bat, kind of work your way into it, because you can find it really overwhelming. So I would also say that maybe, and this is pushing it, maybe a couple of the helmets as well would be a really good one.
Those were going to be the ones that I would suggest.
Yeah.
I love them. I've got all of the helmets and will continue. I think it's one set. I kind of reevaluated what I was buying in Lego a while ago, but that is definitely one kind of set that I will continue to buy. I think I'm just going to get all of them. I do love those helmets. So that was kind of what I was going for. So I think what we've kind of covered there, you're thinking MIDI scale ships and fighters and things like that from Star Wars. We've got the helmets in there. You've got obviously lots of Harry Potter, like the Harry Potter book sets, really good. And then you've got the kind of lower price range Lego ideas sets, I guess, like kind of under 100. You kind of want to go if it's first time builders. I think they're a great buy. Things like the Friend set or the Office, I think they're very popular. So I think those sorts of sets would be a really good starting point. I've seen a few people online, actually, it's just scrolling through TikTok, of like people that are just getting into Lego, and a few of them got things like the Playscale Millennium Falcon. Like that was big time collecting, getting back into it. That was my thing that kind of got me back into like collecting in a big way. It wasn't obviously my first set, but it was that was a gateway drug, unfortunately. So I think those sort of MIDI scale ships, helmets, Harry Potter books, I think they're great, and things like the Boba Fett's throne room, the diorama sets in Star Wars as well. I think anything like that would be a really good kind of for that sort of age bracket. But again, with that age bracket, it is nostalgia, so it's got to be something that they're interested in, that they want to display. The Atari, I think there's some good shouts. Yeah, if we're going into a bigger price bracket, absolutely. Things like the Atari, or the Super Nintendo, anything like retro stuff is always a winner, isn't it? And then finally, the final age bracket, and I think this is definitely the hardest age bracket. He's gone for 50 to 99. So I'm sorry if you're 100, we're not including you. I say we're not including you. It's Seamus. He shut you out on that one.
Yeah. Please take your complaints to Just 15 Bricks. We can provide you with the details at the end of the podcast.
Yes, we can.
It's a tough one, because realistically, 50 to 99, you could get anything.
Do you know what I'm thinking?
What you want,
I'm thinking if you're 15 to 99 and you're at all interested in getting into Lego, in my head, I don't know why I think this, but I think you're into making things in general, and I do think the older generation of people are more interested in how things work, and so therefore, and I hate to say this because it's like opening up a bag of hell, I would go for a Lego Technic set. And I'm thinking if you're in that older age range, you may have a bit more expendable money. So I'm thinking something like the app-controlled bulldozer, like the really big Lego Technic bulldozer, something really intricate. Because you might have, if we're looking at that older age range, you might have a bit more time on your hands, you might have a bit more expendable money. And they always like a bit of technology. I'm thinking of my parents. My dad always likes a new bit of technology or something. Like that might be the way to go, something a bit more intricate that they can spend a lot of time over, rather than just like kind of building something and displaying it like in that 20 to 50 bracket. This might be a long-term project that they want to slowly work on and take their time over. So I'm thinking something like Lego Technic.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the cars as well.
Yeah,
Formula One car.
I'm not gonna disagree with you on that one. I think based on how you described it, I think that's possibly the best avenue to look for, because you've got the 20 to 50 age bracket where pretty much it's free reign to get what you want. But like you say, older 50 to 99, it's one of those things where, like you say, the practicalities of it, it's good for the mind, it's good for the to get the old grey matter going, and also as well, it's useful, it's helpful, it's ideal really. So I think I don't think you could top that with Technic or anything else. So yeah, I'm agreeing with that 100%. I haven't got anything to add to that.
I do think that bracket is a really tricky bracket. I'm trying to think of collectors that I know that fall within that bracket. So I won't name names because that's unfair. But I know a couple of people, and they're not really into collecting Lego. And those ones that are kind of pop culture or into pop culture and things, it is the more pricey stuff that they're into. Like I've got a friend that collects Hot Toys, and I'm extremely jealous. But those things are horrifically priced. So I do think that maybe those kind of bigger Technic sets, that's kind of all I can think of in my head. So yeah, I hope that answered your question, Seamus. Fingers crossed.
We shall see.
We'll see. Okay. Right. I think the other two questions are... Actually, no, they're not. I'm sorry. The next question I think is easy.
Okay.
There is a right and wrong answer. So from Beth, all-time Yashin, what's your favourite brick colour?
Ooh, okay.
There is a right and wrong answer, by the way.
Yeah. My favourite brick colour will be every brick colour, apart from the old style brown that always breaks. That's an atrocious colour, and it hurts because it's one of the worst colours to mix, and we've seen it break before. But every other Lego colour is my favourite. I love Lego, so I'm not a colour snob.
Fence, Josh.
I did say that if it was the old style brown, that can go, because that is awful.
Yeah. Okay, so Josh has done the opposite of answer your question, Beth. He has said what his least favourite Lego brick colour is. I think that might be everyone's least favourite brick colour, because it is just horrific. Actually, one of her other questions that we've answered in the past was related to that exact Lego brick colour. So
there we go.
My favourite brick colour is the sand green. I don't know why. I just like the colour green, and I really like that sand green colour. I did have a wobble with my favourite brick colour when I built Grogu. I didn't enjoy it because that was just a blur of like the nugget brown and the sand green. But no, that is my favourite brick colour. I think, I don't know why, it just is a nice colour. I think going back to like, there's one of the like green clone ATRTs that they utilise that colour on as well. I'm a fan of green, so I went for that.
Do you know what?
So that's my answer.
Do you know what? Do you know what, Beth? I'm gonna answer the question because I feel like being on the fence is just, yeah, okay. I'm gonna say green as well, but because one of my favourite sets that I have in my collection is green, and it's a colour that I haven't seen in a Star Wars set in a very long time, and that's the Naboo Flash Speeder. The green, that shade of green, it's kind of like a bottle sort of green. That is a fantastic shade of green. I've never seen, to the best of my knowledge anyway, a Lego Star Wars set have that colour, and there's just something about it that is nice.
I just think as Lego Star Wars collectors, we are just very used to greys and blacks, aren't we?
Yeah, so anything like that breaks up the monotony of that, I'm 100% invested in.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go, Beth. So a couple of answers there. Let us know what yours is. Everybody else, put your answers in the comment below. What's your favourite brick colour? I promise I won't tell you you're wrong if you don't say sand green, but you are. Right, next up. Sorry, let me just find the question very quickly. So this is from our friend Jim at the Lecoid. And this is a tricky one. I don't know if it's a tricky one, but it's an interesting one. We could end up talking about it for a bit. What's your earliest Lego memory?
Ooh, okay. Thank you, Lecoid. That's a very interesting one. For me, my earliest Lego memory is from the early days of my childhood. So this is late 1999, early 2000. Playing at my cousin's house and finding the box for the very first Lego Systems X-Wing with
Nice.
The original Biggs with the original Biggs Biggs Dark Lighter, Luke Skywalker, and it's got the Rebel mechanic with the little Carlton Banks style moustache as well. And I remember seeing that and thinking, wow, this is really cool. And then after that, I kind of started to pick up small little Lego bits and pieces. So the early like Phantom Menace stuff, when that was big when I was growing up, and the early Star Wars stuff. So when you got maybe the one style of Stormtrooper, you got the one style of Imperial officer, and Darth Vader had a very oblong-shaped helmet, and Palpatine was grey. He wasn't like, whatever shade he is now. But I remember that those were probably my earliest memories. So when Lego first got the license for Star Wars was probably my earliest memory, because I remember finding that X-Wing and just thinking, wow, this is cool. I want it.
Nice. Yeah, that is a good first memory. I've kind of talked about my first set a few times, which was Anakin's Pod Racer, which is why it holds such a strong kind of nostalgic feeling for me. But that's not actually my earliest Lego memory, because I think not through myself, but maybe through friends of the family, or maybe my sister may have had some, but we always kind of had a box of Lego in the house. And it's quite apt at this time of the year because, and I don't know if this is my earliest Lego memory, I do kind of remember being there, but it may have been kind of induced by photos,
Right.
because my mum is good at scrapbooking. And she has photos of me and my siblings, and we've each got kind of like a scrapbook of our lives going through. And there is one very specific picture of me. I must be like 4 or 5 years old, and I've built a Lego brick Santa
Nice.
out of Lego. So very apt for this time of the year. But I do remember, I don't know if I remember that exact moment, but I remember sitting at the we had like a kid's table in our living room. And I remember sitting there with piles of bricks around me. Even at that age, I was definitely like piecing things together. And so that would have been, yeah, that's my earliest Lego memory. And again, I think that was a very like almost like I use it now. It's like an escape. I don't remember ever doing it with my sister or my brother. I just remember kind of sitting on my own. That was my alone time, just as it is now, to go and start piecing bricks together.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be my earliest memory. If I can find that photo, I will put it in the podcast. I don't know if I'll be able to, but I'll have a hunt for it in a minute.
No, that is.
See if I can find that photo.
That is a wholesome one. I like that, mate. That's nice. That's proper got me in the field.
Nice. Yeah. So that's the earliest Lego memory. But yeah, like you, I think I started picking stuff up from 1999 onwards when they started bringing out the Lego Star Wars sets. And I still have most of them now. Just got to piece them back together and find all the bits. Amazing. So thanks for the question. Make sure you are following all of those people as always. So get onto Just 15 Bricks, All Time Yashin, and the Lecoid. All produce amazing content. So please follow them on TikTok.
Yeah.
Okay. So once again, the week has flown by and we are back at our minifig draft. Now it's been a few weeks since it was just me versus you on this, Josh. I got 18 votes, I think, back through from last week's. We had Pod Bricks on last week.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's only been up since Friday. It's Tuesday now, but I've had 18 votes through Spotify and other places, and I'm sure you can guess that all 18 votes have gone to Pod. So we both have been absolutely destroyed. I think we knew. I've had a couple of comments that actually we both had strong hands, and that if it was just me versus you in that one, it would have been quite a close run thing. But yeah, I think Pod took it with Queen Amidala last week. Yeah. So
I'm not going to lie. That's if I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose to that Amidala from 2013, like from 2012 or 2011. That version, I'm going to lose to her, and I'll lose gracefully on that one.
Yeah, same. I mean, she was my number one pick as well. I knew that was going to be the one that would win it for someone. So I applaud you for actually thinking outside of the box rather than going straight for the jugular. Okay, so this week you've pitched this topic for our minifig draft. We had a couple other ones on the back burner, and I think we'll kind of return to those fairly soon. But this is a different one this week. So it's still minifig draft because it is very much dependent on the minifigs.
Yeah.
But we are not going for soul minifigs this week, are we?
No, because when I pitched this idea to you, I thought it's getting close to Christmas. We're going to be talking about some of the things that we talked about in our previous topic, so this relates to it very nicely, actually, and it's kind of fitting that you've had that as a first topic and I've got this as a draft, so it kind of closes the circle very nicely. And for today's minifigure draft, everyone, we are going to be talking about battle packs, and specifically a battle pack that has 3 or more minifigures and is the main focus of the set. So obviously some people will argue that maybe a couple of our choices aren't strictly battle packs, but our criterion is it's 3 or more minifigures, and the minifigures are the main aspect of the set. It may come with a small vehicle or something you can build, but the minifigures are the heart of that set, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're being very, very lenient on the term battle packs. Not all of these are officially battle packs, but almost like character packs, where those, like Josh said, the minifigs are the focus. But I'm sure that kind of battle packs have taken the main focus of this. Josh, how are we going to do this? I don't know how we're... Oh, no, do you know what? I've got something.
Okay.
Because I've been playing Pokemon cards with Jacob this week.
Right. Okay.
And on a lot of the, like, when you're attacking each other, you have to flip a coin. So I downloaded a coin flipping app.
Right. Okay.
Let's put this in screen here. So I don't know if we'll be able to like clearly see this or not.
Yeah. Okay.
But there is a coin there. So Josh, I'll let you call. I'll flip the coin, and you can call heads or tails.
Okay.
And then the winner can pick first. Okay, let me just drop. Here we go. Okay, right. So let's do it. If I can. Oh, this is intense, and I don't know if you can clearly see this.
Yeah, I can see it. It's oh.
Did you call?
No, tails.
Did you? What did you call? You called tails.
Tails.
It's heads.
Oh, okay.
It is heads. I haven't.
No, I knew as soon as it landed, it was like, I'm hoping for tails, but it was heads. So, yeah, I guess the floor is yours.
Okay, so this is really tricky because I think there's 2 sets that are going to win this week. So if we get one each, I think it could be very, very close run thing.
Yeah.
And I'm really struggling as to which one I'm going to go for. However, I said it earlier that it is probably the most bought set of all time of any Lego set, and I'm going to have to go with the 501st Battle Pack.
And I knew you were going to pick that straight away. I just knew straight away.
I mean, what a set is! So for so long, people have been crying out for a 501st set, and then they come out with this. And I just think for a battle pack, it is perfect. There's so many things right with this set. When we constantly criticize Lego for the little things that they maybe don't get right, I just think this one is great. And one of the reasons why I picked this, and I will make sure I tag him below. I don't know if you follow QWERTY Clone on TikTok.
Yeah.
The guy's a genius. Essentially, he's created all these amazing builds purely out of the 501st sets. I don't know how many 501st troopers he must have lying around. But yeah, purely on like creativity and things, he is an absolute genius. So even more reason to pick that one. So yeah, first pick, had to get in there quick. 501st Battle Pack. Over to you.
Nice. Well, that was on my list, but obviously I'm going to have to dig into another one of my list. And I'm going to pick a set that has 4 named characters in that set, was released in 2017, and that is set number 75167, the Bounty Hunter Speeder Bike.
Very nice.
I think just because you get Dengar, you get Bosk, IG-88 and 4 Lom, at the time, that was a big deal. Those were 4 main characters from an iconic scene in The Empire Strikes Back in a battle pack, and obviously the only time you got them, like, IG-88, 4 Lom especially, was in like the UCS style sets. We hadn't had a Dengar in a long time. Bosk we hadn't had in a long time. I think you got them in like the Superstar Destroyer from like 2010. But for the time of release, I thought that was a fantastic battle pack. Obviously, 4 Lom and IG-88 have come out in other sets, and Bosk as well. But no, for me, I think that's a cool little battle pack, and 122 pieces. It's good for the price you pay for that.
It's a great set. I own it. Amazing set. One of my stipulations for my picks in this was to not have named characters, and the only reason for that is because in my head I want a battle pack that is going to almost army build. I want lots of lots of them, lots of variations. But I think if you're going on pure in that set, what's in it, I don't think you can go wrong with that. It is a great set. I still have, for very few battle packs have I ever bought and kind of kept them all in one place and all together. That one I have. It's a great set.
Yeah. I get what you mean in the terms of, like, obviously, you know, you want to keep it so it's an army build, but I think as a one-off set where you get 4 named characters for, say, like £15 at the time of its release, I think it was a first because we'd never seen that before. And I think especially for people who probably at the time couldn't afford the larger sets where they came in, to get them in that, I think for that price bracket, it's acceptable, I think.
Absolutely. And I think, at risk of ruining one of your picks, I don't know if you picked this or not, but there was a battle pack that I was looking at for a while that it angered me when it came out, and that was, I can't remember the name of it, but it's got Ki-Adi-Mundi in it and a few clone troopers.
It wasn't on my list.
No, I didn't think it would be. And that's kind of where, that's what annoys me. If you're kind of mixing like a named Jedi character and some clone troopers, because you want clone troopers to build armies. You want clone troopers to have clones and things around. So what you don't want is ending up with like 50 Ki-Adi-Mundis or whatever afterwards. But no, I think top-notch pick there, Josh. Great start. Okay.
Right. Your second pick, sir? I
am, however, pleased that I do get my second pick. And my second pick is not Star Wars, surprisingly. And it is from Toy Story, and you're going to know what I'm going to say. Army Men on Patrol. Had to go for it. What a battle pack. I mean, that is a battle pack without being a battle pack. 4 Army Men, Toy Story. I mean, you could get hundreds of packs of these, and it would be incredible. No. He's not happy about it. That makes me happy.
Oh, you're twisted. You are twisted.
No response.
No, nothing. Continue.
Well, you continue. You're on to your second pick.
Well, do you know what, guys? I think I might just end the draft here because that's my first 2 picks down the spout.
Nice.
Right. Okay. So tactically, I'm going to play this one very smart. I'm going to pick my second set, but this is one of the earlier sets that I bought when I got back into Lego collecting. So this has a nostalgic meaning to me, and that is set number 75078, which is the Imperial Troop Transport from Star Wars Rebels, released in 2015. It comes with 4 of the Rebel-style stormtroopers, and it's just... And the build itself is actually really fun and quirky because you can slot them in and things like that. I've got 2 of them, and they're from this, and they've got that really nice Star Wars Rebels box art, and they complement my my Ghost and my Phantom very well. So I love the Rebel Stormtroopers as well.
I think it's a great pick. Stormtroopers were very high on my list when I started thinking of battle packs. Clones and Stormtroopers were my initial go-to.
Yeah.
A great second pick. Okay. My third pick is a bit of an odd one because I don't think that many people regard this as a great battle pack or a great set. However, I'm thinking it's going to be quite future-proof. And my third pick is the most recent Mandalorian battle pack.
Okay.
So it's the Mandalorian battle pack with the kind of green Mandalorian, the white one, the brown one, and I think there's a blue one
brown
as well.
One, isn't there?
Yeah. So the reason why I went for this one, and you mentioned it earlier, the trailer for Mandalorian Season 3 came out. And in that trailer, there are a wide variety of Mandalorians.
Yeah.
He kind of walks out beside a few Mandalorians that look very similar to these Mandalorians in the Mandalorian Battle Pack. And I think what you can do with these Mandalorians is they're very interchangeable. You can kind of swap a helmet here and there or swap a body here and there. So I feel like you could quite easily pick up 2 or 3 sets of these, jiggle them around a little bit, and you've kind of got a nice varied Mandalorian army, which is kind of what the Mandalorians are looking like in The Mandalorian. So if we go back to season 1 and you've got the Mandalorian, they all look very different. It's not like there's one kind of theme running through their armor. They're all very different. And so that's what I'm thinking with this battle pack. Yes, I think they're really cool Mandalorians. It's a nice little speeder in there. But actually, I think it's a little bit future-proof. And I think that in Mando Season 3, this may have a bit of a resurgence because I think that a few of them are going to kind of show up, or very similar-looking ones are going to show up in the Mandalorian Season 3. So that was my pick.
That's a solid pick, and I rate that. That's smart. I get your thinking on that one.
Awesome. So what's your third pick then?
Right, we're going back in time, and we are going back to the year 2008 for one of my white whales that I don't have, but I'm always on the hunt for, and that is set number 7668, which is the Rebel Scout Speeder.
You've taken one from me, Josh.
Yes! Get him.
A great pick.
I just love that set. It's so good, and it's Rebel Fleet Troopers. You don't get many of them. The build itself is really nice. It looks cool. It's one of the first instances we get the blasters instead of it being the old microphone air horn pieces.
Yeah,
and yeah, just an overall great set from 2008.
That is a great pick. I've got someone whinging at me, so she's taking centre stage. Right. Okay, I'm going to move on to my fourth pick then. And for my fourth pick, again, very similar to the Mandalorian Battle Pack, where they're very interchangeable. I've gone for last year's Defense of Hoth, or actually, I think it was the start of this year.
January,
the Defense of Hoth. So the three Rebel minifigs. I think they were the perfect kind of side set to the ATST that came out. Went along very nicely with the Snowtrooper Battle Pack as well. But with these ones, again, like the Mandalorian, they're very interchangeable. You can kind of swap the pieces around. And I think I picked up 3 or 4 sets of this because I had built a big kind of Hoth mock at the time. And I bought 3 or 4 sets of these and just interchanged headpieces, hats, legs, and they all work together because of the kind of the scheme of the Rebels. So I just thought it was a really adaptable battle pack, really good sets in there. There's girls in there as well, so it's quite diverse. She's squeezing toys now. So yeah, I just think it's a great set.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I mean, I get it. I've got one as well, and I was really tempted when I was at the Lego store the other day to buy another one because it is good, and it goes if you've got a Hoth ATST, it will go with the Hoth ATST as well because it's a great little set because you get a Rebel Trooper with that, but this kind of just rounds it off very nicely, and it's affordable as well. It's within that price bracket.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when it came out, it was less than £15. I just thought amazing. Picked up a few on day one. Okay, on to your fourth pick, Josh.
Well, you've helped me out there, one, because I will see your blister pack and I will raise you set number 75320, which is the Snowtrooper Battle Pack that is the opposite of that.
Nice. The accompanying one.
Yeah, because with that you get 3 Snowtroopers, you get a Scout Trooper in like winter Hoth armor, you get a really nice speeder bike build, and you get like a snowbank sort of terrain piece as well. And obviously we've had the £180 AT-AT as well, we've had the £600 AT-AT, the UCS one, and just for a little bit of nerdy trivia for you, to fill up a UCS AT-AT, you would need 12 of those battle packs.
Do you want to know how many I have in my backlog, Josh?
12.
I've got 12. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I can't remember who. I think it might have been like M&R Productions.
Yeah, that's where I got the idea from for the battle pack. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw his video very early on when the AT-AT came out, and I remember it was only a few weeks after it came out. Asda, of all places, had it for like £13.
Yeah.
And it was a few weeks after it came out, and I just thought, do you know what? I will get the AT-AT at some point, and so I'm just going to get these now whilst they're cheap, because they're never going to be cheaper than, you're never going to get a battle pack for less than £13. So I just picked up a few, and I kept going back like the next month or the next time it dropped down again, I picked up another few, and it just slowly over time I've accumulated until I got 12. So I do have a stack of 12 hidden away, ready to fill it up when I got there. So I've
got 3 because I got one when it first came out, which was hard to come by, and then I got one later on down the line, and then before I moved to another store in my day job, and I moved to a new location as a leaving present, my old department got me some Lego, and that battle pack was in my leaving present. So it's kind of nice that I've got 3 of them, and I mean the minifigures are great as well, and it's a good way of getting hold of the newer style Snowtroopers as well.
Absolutely. No, I again, I think it's a great shout. Can't go wrong with it.
Right.
Okay, I'm into my 5th one.
Ooh.
Right, so far, just a quick recap. I've gone 501st, obviously.
Yeah.
The Army Men on Patrol, then the Mandalorian Battle Pack and the Defense of Hoth. I have gone very heavily Star Wars. I've lent on Star Wars for this one a lot, but I have to go back. And I don't know if personally this was one of my favourite ones or not. I don't know if I've gone tactically this week and tried to win it, but this one had to get into my top 5 because I love it for a few different reasons. First of all, Endor. I love scenes on Endor. And so I went for set 9489, which is the Endor Rebel Trooper and Imperial Trooper battle pack.
Oh, okay.
So you get a Scout Trooper, you get a Stormtrooper, and 2 Rebel Scouts in there as well.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking if you're army building or you want to set up a battle, it's the perfect battle pack because you've got a mix of both of them in there. So you can kind of build your Stormtroopers and your Rebel Troopers at the same time. Yeah. It's not got the best build in it. I really don't like that these Endor builds, even with this year's terrible mini ATST, they always put these horrible little tree builds in there. When you look at things like Legos, like the classic Lego forest hideout and things like that create these amazing tree builds. For some reason in Star Wars, they're not interested in creating a nice tree build. But yeah, no, I think the minifigures, which is what we're focusing on, I think the minifigures are great in it, and it's a great army builder for kind of both sides of the coin. So yeah, that's
exactly
my fifth. And again, Darth Maul on the box art, can't go wrong.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? As a pick, I get it. It's from an iconic movie. It's an iconic scene, and I mean, it's Endor as well, so you can't not have it.
Yeah,
right.
Had to get it in there.
Yeah, we're coming on to my 5th pick now, which, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm a bit worried because I don't think I'm going to win with my 5th pick on this one at all. I don't think I'm going to have anything good to pick to compete against that. But I'm going to finish off with a non-Star Wars set as well. I could go for Star Wars, but I am going to... I'm worried that I may not be allowed to have it because it comes with a set piece, but it's the minifigures of that set that are so cool.
Okay, a controversial one to finish us off. Let's see.
And I'm going to go with the Lord of the Rings Uruk-hai army set.
Oh, okay. Let me just.
Based on the fact it comes with 5 minifigures, and the title on the box is Uruk-hai Army.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that falls within our bracket. 100%.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that.
It's like 257 pieces, which is nothing really. 6 minifigs, came out at under £30. I definitely think that falls under, and I think you've been very clever there, getting a Lord of the Rings set in there.
Yeah, when I kind of come up with one of my options, I wanted this to finish up because I thought he's not going to pick Lord of the Rings, but I thought outside the box because my logic was that's why I pitched the question to you. What are we? This was when I WhatsApped you and said about the question. What are we classifying as a battle pack? This was the set that I was
that you were thinking of
because the name on the box says Uruk-hai Army, so therefore it's not specifically stated on the box that it's anything else other than Uruk-hai Army. There's about 4 Uruk-hai in the set plus 2 Rohan, 1 named character and 1 Rohan soldier. And you can use it to army build, and you've got additional pieces for Helm's Deep. So I'm kind of filling all the niches there.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that is. Do you know what? It's actually very similar to my 6th pick. I definitely think it counts as a battle pack. My 6th pick was the Dark Trooper attack.
Yeah, that was on my list.
Which I thought
was on my reserves.
It was like it's a scene. It is a scene, but people bought it for the minifigs. And that's why I'm in an RM. But yeah, no, I think that's a great pick. Getting some Rohan riders in there as well. Amazing.
Yeah,
well, this is going to be interesting now. I think that's a really strong one to finish off. I think that's a 1, 2, 3 pick. I think.
Yeah, I to be honest with you, based on your start and how you picked it. And obviously, my first 2 I didn't get because you had them, because you started strong with the 5-0 first. I thought to myself, I'm going to have to close with something big. And that's why I thought if it's controversial, that's fine. But again...
Go big or go home, right?
Yeah, go big or go home. And again, the fact that you've got Uruk-hai in it and it's an Uruk-hai army and you can use it for an army builder, it was a no-brainer for me, that.
No, absolutely. Great shout. Okay, so really quickly, let's just run down your 5.
Yeah. I'll let you.
Oh, did you get that? Have I muted? Shall I go down my 5 first? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you go first, and then I'll work my way across. So.
Yeah. Okay. So my 5 were the 501st Battle Pack, Toy Story's Army Men on Patrol, the most recent Mandalorian Battle Pack, Defense of Hoth, and the Endor Rebels and Imperial Trooper Battle Pack.
Yeah, and my 5
and your 5 were?
And my 5 were, dear sir, were you paying attention? Please repeat them back to me.
Oh, your 5. Oh,
yeah.
My word. No, so Bounty Hunter, you had the Bounty Hunter Battle Pack, which is a great pick. You had the Imperial Troopers. Oh, my word. What else did you have? Obviously, you had the Uruk-hai Army. There's 2 others.
Yeah. The Rebel Scout Speeder.
Oh, yeah. Why did I not say that? I had that on my list.
Yeah, that was on your list. And I also went for... I have it written down, but I've forgotten. Either way, I went for 5, yeah.
Yeah, I did pick 5. We'll remind people. It's fine.
Yeah.
I think both very strong picks. You've stolen one off me, and I do think I felt confident until that last one. I feel like that's thrown a spanner in the works a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you say, go big or go home, mate.
Yeah. Okay, so that'll do it for this week. Another episode of the Fandom Bricks podcast in the bin.
I mean, we're getting good at this now. We've made it 7 episodes in, so people are listening to us.
I don't know. We're doing well. Even my brother came up to me the other day and was talking about podcast stats and saying how few people actually make it past 3 and then 10 episodes. But I was looking at it the other day that, what is it? So that's going to be 8, 9, 10. So I have, without having let people know, I have big plans for episode 10. I think you know what we've talked about it as a group, but it kind of needs to be finalized in details. But that's my plan for our big episode 10 spectacular.
Yeah.
But we'll let you all know more details on that when we finalized the plan for that one.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Josh, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on TikTok at the Galaxy of Bricks. That is my main platform. That is where I interact with most people, and you can find most of my content on there. You can find me on Instagram as well at the Galaxy of Bricks as well. I'm trying to post a little bit more on my Instagram now, just some behind the scenes stuff. And you can also find me on YouTube, which I still have, but I don't use as often as I did. And that is also at the Galaxy of Bricks as well.
Awesome. And as always, you can find me at Bite Size Bricks on TikTok, and find us at the Fandom Bricks on YouTube. I mentioned last week that I started breaking up episodes into chunks, which I'm still doing. But also, after speaking with Josh, I'm going to start doing some slightly longer form stuff. So I'm going to start doing some set reviews and things and start posting that on our Fandom Bricks channel as well. So there's going to be a lot more content, I think, coming your way. So please make sure you subscribe or get other people to do it. Give them a nudge, because we'd really appreciate it. And more ears and more eyes on what we're doing, because we're loving talking about Lego. So let's keep trying to push it as much as we can.
Absolutely. This has been the Fandom Bricks podcast. We have been your host, the Galaxy of Bricks and Bite Size Bricks. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you all next time, because we are about to go off the air. So take care, everyone.
The Fandom Bricks podcast.